Okay, we're going to do the last part here, and lesson 3, we're going to be ending at 131. We're starting at 128. Disiectaineiae toto vidit aequora classem, fluctibus oppressos troas caelique ruina, nec latuere doli fratrem iunones et irae, Iurad se zeperumque vocat de hinctalia fatur. Okay, remember Neptune is looking around and he's been seeing everything, and so he's the subject still. Videt Neptunus. Videt. Neptune sees. He's not stated, but he's there because he was in the sentence before. He sees the disiectam classem, the dislocated or the thrown about fleet, Aenei of Aeneas, that is a genitive, the fleet of Aeneas, toto aequore, and this is on the whole sea. Aequore, another word for sea, lots of words for sea, on the whole sea. And this looks like a nice chiastic line here. Here you've got your verb in the middle, you've got your accusatives way over here, and your ablatives here. It's very, very nice. Disiectaineiae toto vidit aequore classem. He sees the thrown about fleet of Aeneas on the whole sea. In toto aequore. We got to put in there, right? In toto aequore. Fluctibus oppressus Troias caelique ruina. There's some other things that go with this. Vidit. He also sees. Remember, vidit, you're looking for accusatives. He sees the oppressos Troas, and fluctibus is an ablative that's going to go with oppressus. So he sees the Trojans oppressed by the waves. You've got to put in a by there. Remember, ablative, put in by, with, or from, and a lot of times you're pretty safe. He sees the Trojans oppressed by the waves. And the caeli ruina, and the ruin. And ruina is also ablative, and they're also oppressed by this. They're oppressed by the waves and by the ruin, caeli, of heaven, or of the sky. And the ruin of the sky just means, the storm, okay? Caeli, genitive. Farr has a note saying that he would put in an esse here, and I like that, esse. Remember how we talked about, I know it's a little hard to see it, sorry, I didn't realize I was in purple. How we talked about indirect statement. The vidit is an indirect statement here. He sees, and I think disiectam probably also ought to have an esse with it too. So then you have, he sees, vidit, the fleet of Aeneas to be, esse, right, to be scattered about or dispersed. And he sees the Trojans, esse, to be oppressed. We would say he sees that the fleet has been scattered, and he sees that the Trojans have been oppressed. But Latin, you got to do the to be, okay, indirect statement, verb of the head, and then an infinitive. And they are oppressed by two ways, by the waves and by the ruin of the sky. Last part. Nec latuere doli fratrem iunonis et irae. Iurad se zeperumque vocat de hinctalia fatur. The subject, first of all, nec means and not, right? It's a combination of known or ne and et, okay, or ac. So nec and not. And the doli, the tricks of Juno. Oh, the tricks and the angers, okay? The tricks and the angers. Those are two subjects. Eunonis of Juno, okay? Nec latuere, do not latuere. This means do not lie hidden, and that's really latuerunt. Oops. Erunt is the ending there. It's latuerunt. Just know that's an ending, okay? Oop. Lateo is to hide. And the tricks and angers of Juno do not lie hidden. There, I'm getting the not from the neck. Do not lie hidden from Fratrem, her brother, accusative. Who's her brother? Neptune is her brother. Remember, they're all related. Neptune and Jupiter are brothers, and Juno is their sister. Okay, and why are these the tricks of Juno? Well, she's the one that coerced Aeolus into doing this storm, and Neptune is pretty observant. He says, oh, okay, I know what's going on here. It's that sister of mine up to her old tricks, and I know how tempestuous she can be. Iur ad se zeperumque vocat de hinc talia fatur. Couple of verbs that go with Neptune. He's still the subject. He calls the east wind and the west wind. Here's your and, the que. Ad se, to himself. And then you got to put in another et here. Okay, et. And he, fatur, he speaks. Talia. He speaks such, and that's talia whereby, right? Sorry, my writing is kind of messy here. He speaks such words then, or, from here, from this point. De hinc. Here, it's just an adverb. Okay, so one more time. Neptune sees the fleet of Aeneas to be, you got to put in an essay there, I didn't write it over there, but to be scattered on the whole sea. He also sees the Trojans to be oppressed by the waves in the ruin of heaven. And the and is in that neck. And the tricks and angers of Juno do not, also in the neck, lie hidden from her brother. Period. He, Wokat, calls the east and the west winds to himself, and then he speaks with such words, or not with such words, he speaks such words. Okay, that concludes lesson 3, and we'll pick up the next lines in the next lesson, starting at line 132. Vale.